take it out of space. Drop that bass in your face. Pick it back up, put it on the turntable, and drop that bass in your face. MCs wrapping it up with the tight production. Right off the rip, getting into something. Licking shots, triggering samples. Get the kettle on, I'm off the handle. Loud and rowdy, no further questions. Lighten up another kicking session. Whoa! Got two jobs, blow up and blow speakers, make beats and get your artist featured. Stack up drums, 2 pairs of fresh kicks. How many lumps do you want for your first hit? Sarcastic magic, beats above average, make a mental note. Get your head examined, sample my voice, royalty free. But your fire ain't enough to boil me.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Ace, one of the co-hosts of the KicknIt podcast. As usual, I want to thank you for tuning in. Every stream that we get is super important to us. We do appreciate it. So again, thank you. Before this episode, I did want to put the disclaimer out there that we did run into a few technical difficulties. So again, please be patient with us. We try to get better every week. And again, we do appreciate you. So bear with us. We are excited to share everything with you. And this was a conversation that I felt that was very good and important, and I wanted to share with you in full. So without further ado, this is another episode of the Kicking It podcast, one of our side episodes in which we call Kicking It Off the Clock. Enjoy. Is one of our side episodes that we typically do. It's called Kicking It Off the Clock. Tonight, we got a little bit of a different setup. We have our usual co-host, Chris. That's what's how you doing tonight, Chris?
I'm good, man. I'm having a good night. I'm doing well.
All right, man. That's always good to hear. And we have a special guest. Definitely wanted to start off kind of like a little bit on the momentum that we've been having. And we have the founder of the Black Pearl with us this evening. Roland, how are you doing this evening, man?
Doing great. I'm doing great, brother.
Hey, man,
Appreciate it.
hey, we appreciate you coming on. I definitely want to say thank you for coming on, taking the time out your schedule to sit and have a conversation with us. I'm really looking forward to this tonight. So again, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in. Remember, we say this every episode. Any stream that we get is always much appreciated. So with that being said, Chris, go ahead, take over for me.
All right. So, like you said, we have a special guest, Mr. Roland. He's a St. Louis celebrity, I say. I've been knowing, I've been knowing Roland for a while. Started out as a customer at Black Pearl, became a friend, and then we just developed into family now. So
Yeah.
I'll say that that's like a straight brother to me. So happy to have him on the pod. But as we get things started, our foundation, what we always talk about on the show is sneakers. So let me ask you, what is your favorite sneaker of all time? Like one shoe that you had to have growing up,
Oh, Chris, man, I'm old school. I'm
Yep.
60, so but let's just say this. I guess, what the one that always struck because I grew up Feelers and Converse. So
Yeah.
when I think that was what 89 when the Air Jordan, what was it, the 4?
Yeah, it was before.
Those probably, yeah.
The one that was in Do the Right Thing.
That was before.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah,
4.
yeah. Mhm.
That caught my eye,
Yeah.
because I wasn't really into fancy shoes. I love the Chucks, the old Fila, the Adidas, but when that was the shoe that got me into buying Jordan, and I
Okay.
still have it. I still have it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I'm a big, that's one of my favorites too. Retro 4s are one of my favorite shoes.
yeah.
Um, outside of those shoes, any other sneakers, you know,
Uh, Adidas. I love Adidas. Now, currently, I like Adidas, and it's the comfort that it forms. I got lupus,
Yeah,
so it's important to me to have a shoe that I can be mobile in. So I like the. Then with Adidas, they got the ones that actually I brought a pair from you, the Samba.
yeah,
So you can now with tennis, you can dress it up. You can wear it like on a night out. So
yeah.
that's what I love. It's still with the Converse. I think the Converse, the SGA, I like those.
Those are some good
Mhm.
looking shoes. I ain't even gonna fake.
Man,
I haven't
man,
even gotten any, but I
the,
like the way
the
those look.
colors. I Go ahead.
Yeah, we lost you for a minute, but we got you back, Roland.
Yeah, yeah. We got you back.
Okay, you got me back.
Yeah, we all good. Okay, so I'm gonna just go from there. So in your opinion, I'm assuming that what's your favorite Jordan of all time? Would it be the
Con-
4?
no, it'd be the Concords.
Oh, the
What is that?
11.
The 11? The 11
Yeah.
retro? Yeah.
Okay, okay. All
Yeah,
right, all right.
you can't go wrong with that. I mean, that's a classic all time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That used to be my favorite Jordan, but I've kind of moved to like the 3, the 4s. Those are kind of like, and the ones, those are kind of like my go-to Jordans. At this stage, next
Yeah.
year it might change. I'm
I
always
I
changing.
haven't
So
brought a pair of Jordans like currently. All the ones that I have are the throwbacks.
yeah,
I think I
the
got
ones you,
the six that came out like in the 90s.
yeah,
And that's it. Like
okay,
all now I just wear, I guess the price that goes a lot too.
yeah.
I think
Hey,
that's
that has a
everybody
lot to
right
do
about
with it.
now,
Man,
man. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
shit, times
it
are
can get
hard.
crazy. It can get
but it's
crazy.
amazing the evolution of it, man. Like
Hmm.
like to like we used to talk about it, Chris, like you have to tell me you have to be there 7 in the morning to open up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a
You
different
used
time, man.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was definitely a different time, but it was a
Man.
good time, lining
Oh yeah,
up and,
yeah.
you know, that was a time. Oh, some stores opened at midnight. I mean, that's a whole different era. That's a whole different
And
era. So, okay. Well, we did talked about a little bit about sneakers. So tell me this. So how did you come up with the concept of Black Pearl? Like, where did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur first? And then you was like, I'm gonna move into this direction. Like, take us through that. How did you figure that
oh,
out?
oh, definitely, definitely. I can be precise with it. It started in 1983. I worked. I always drew. I've always been a natural artist. From T-shirts, I airbrushed, paint, whatever. Eighth grade, I made my own comic book, and it had all diverse heroes. One was Latino, one was black. Now you talking about that's 1978, and it was called the
Yeah.
Architects. And
Okay.
yeah, and I actually, won an award for that.
Mm,
But I elevated, got a little trendy. 1983, I went and worked in River Rose Mall at a place called California Shirtworks. I was an airbrusher.
yeah. Yeah. I remember that mall for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and that was the start of it, man. Until just airbrushing, doing something. It was like a spectator's craft. People used to sit and watch from start to finish,
Yeah.
and it just from there, it elevated. You know what though? I always knew that I was going to do tattoos. Now,
Really?
yeah, but me and Tracy been together since high school, so I would tell her and my mom, and like that's not a career.
Hmm.
I'm like you tattoos, and who would think, man?
These many years later.
These many years later. And to be honest, I wouldn't um, probably pursued it as aggressively as I did. And rest, with my life, it's been a roller coaster. So I had my ups and downs, even with the success. We
Mhm.
still we're mortal, so we still go through a trial and error. As
Mhm.
long as you can learn from it.
Sure.
That's so. You know, joined the police department, became a
Yeah.
detective, and I uh, ran into some problems with that. I wound up being incarcerated, which I'm transparent about it because it made me into the person I am now.
Yeah. For sure.
And uh, I knew I wasn't happy with the law enforcement anyway. I just
Mhm.
wasn't. So I knew I had to find another career path. And fortunately, when I was on the police department, I opened Black Pearl.
Oh, you were
Because
still. I
oh
didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I used to park my detective car in the back, and I go in and do tattoos when I get off work, man.
That's tight.
Yeah, yeah. So a
So how
lot of
long did you
people,
do that for? How long did you do
the
part
police
time, well,
department.
full time police and part time tattooing?
I
How
joined the
long was it?
police. The I joined the police department in 1989, and I left 1996.
No, okay.
And 1996 is when officially Black Pearl uh, was fully established. You know,
Hmm.
it's just my full time career.
Right. What were some of
You
those
know,
early struggles when you got it? When you were okay, Black Pearl, this is gonna be my bread and butter. This is gonna be my go-to job, my main source of income. Like, what were those early struggles
Wh-
like?
the struggle was like I believe like when you're in law enforcement, they like to govern what secondary income you got coming in, anything
Yeah.
supplemental. So they were real discouraged about my career as a tattoo artist anyway. They were questionable about that.
Hmm.
So I think that had a lot of bearing on my downfall in law enforcement.
Yeah.
But with some consider a curse, it's a blessing in disguise. So
Certainly.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I I really didn't have any struggles. I tell you what, Chris, it I looked at it like God finally gave me my path, my career choice. It wasn't
Yeah.
almost a career, man. I loved to do it. You know,
Hmm.
it wasn't about the money. Of course, I made a good career in a dynasty that I'm able to pass on to my kids. But um, man, it's just that was my therapy.
Sure.
Like all my worries when I go in there and I got in that booth, like you, little bro, you used to come and you sit with me for
Heck yeah.
hours, man. And that was my second home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
People, yeah.
I
People
didn't
thought
have
I
to
worked
do,
there.
I mean, they did.
Yeah.
So, it's just funny how everything was organic. It just grew. It just grew
Yeah.
like the word of mouth. I didn't really have to do any real heavy marketing and promotion. Everything was grassroots, just getting out there, shaking hands. And
Yeah.
I do believe this because a lot of law enforcement, when they retire or they leave that career choice, they like to keep their life secretive because the public doesn't perceive law enforcement favorably now. But
Mhm.
I believe the way I treated people and the person I was helped my business. I had people who come in there and like, I I met you when you was a police officer. And I was like, what? And they were like, you actually gave me a ticket, you booked me, or you even locked me up. But they said, you know what? You treated me so good, man. And I just want to tell you thank you.
Mhm.
This is before even I started the tattoo.
Yeah. Treating
And,
people like human beings, man.
man,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
That was the if people we'll get into that later about my book, but if people who have read my book, that's what they'll find out. It was more my as far as my ethics,
Mm.
as far as where I came from.
Mhm.
It takes a strong person to be a police officer because some of the things, the affiliations or the relationships you had on the street, you got to cut those ties,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
whether it's family member or what, they don't care,
Mhm.
and I get it. I get it. Some people say, do I regret it? And, I regret the way I left, but as far as me not changing or not turning my back on some of the people who I consider family, I don't regret that, you know,
Mhm.
not at all.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
still got
Okay.
friends. I still got friends under the police department, man. Like the past chiefs I went to school with, Danny Ives and John Hayden. We all grew up in North St. Louis at St. Engelbert, one of the few black
Mhm.
Catholic schools in the city.
Yeah. Mhm. I know that's cool. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So during that time,
Hmm.
I remember the grad because I wasn't there right at the beginning, of course, but I was probably early 2000. So you all were still, in your infant stages when I was coming on the scene.
Right.
Um, so when did you know I got something? This is going to be successful. This is it. I got to hit here. Like, at what point did you know that?
I knew when I was on the police department and when my checks from the police department didn't matter anymore.
Mhm.
That's
I
it.
knew when one
Okay.
week when I made, and it's not about the money, man, but
But
when you
yeah,
got kids and things like that,
yeah.
you know, just providing for a family, your family, because a lot of times it was kind of stressful on the police department, not dealing with the community. More so like, man, I'm working secondary, I'm working at the library, I'm trying to, make a better way for my family. And it was difficult doing that. I tell you what, uh, uh, guys, I would come home, probably get 5 hours of sleep, and I'm back up.
Mhm.
Mm,
It was like that. And I didn't see any uh, progress as far as financial stability.
Mhm.
My wife working overtime, we missing each other. Rarely got to see my kids,
yeah.
so I knew then, and it was like a spiritual sign that hey, you found your path. Go ahead and
Mhm.
walk it.
Yeah.
And
That's
I did, man, and it took off, and here's 30 years, 3 decades later, man, and it's stronger,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
and it's just a blessing because uh, even though I'm the founder, I turned it over to the boys,
Yeah.
and that's their venture.
Right.
I live on a humble lifestyle. I'm retired from what I had with the military and things like that. So I'm good, man. It's so gratifying knowing that you left something for your kids, and
Mhm.
not just that. that it's going to go to my third generation, to my grandkids,
Yeah. Yeah. For
you
sure.
know, and they're interested in so,
So
you
at
know,
what point did the young Ro and Buddha and those guys, my nephews, when did they when you was like did they show interest in, the business itself?
they didn't first, well, Ro had the music career and it was going
Right.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you remember when I got diagnosed with lupus,
Yeah.
it hit me out of nowhere because I was doing concert promotions and I was doing some concerts with DMX and woke up one morning I couldn't move, man. I'm talking about pain. I'm a tattoo artist, so I got high pain tolerance.
Yeah.
But I've never ever experienced anything like that.
Mhm.
So it it was it was real stressful for the family and I Rose stepped in my shoes, man, and he did it like a champ, you know?
Yeah.
He turned to work. It was hard because I was his manager also for in the music industry.
Mhm.
So when I couldn't book the shows or the tours, he got kind of depressed, man. You know, it was a production group called The Business. That was Chris Brown production group. So they were gonna sign Roland
Mhm.
with Def Jam. That's when Shakur was still living before he passed in Atlanta. And you know, it just seemed like he was like that number one draft pick.
Mhm.
He had two independently. He charted what 4 times on Billboard. He just,
Yep.
you know, because it was he made fun music for the kid. And I told him, be himself, you know. At that time, St. Louis just got into the street music and things like that. And I just told him, you know, and you don't know nothing about that. I raised you differently from that. You know, whatever I went through or grew up in, you don't, and he stayed true to that.
Mhm.
And he still, as an older man, he'll still sometimes tell people, well, you know, uh, I know the things my father went through, but you know, he showed me a different path, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I know people from that element, but I don't know nothing about that, you
Right.
know, and nor do I want to.
Right.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
so, so,
That's the
you know,
most important thing. Yeah.
man, I mean, we turned down Black Ink. You know, shout out to Miss Robbie from Sweetie Pies. You know,
Yeah.
before Black Ink in Chicago was Black Ink in New York, but she got us an audition, an interview with Big Fish Bravo to do Black Ink here in St.
Yeah.
Louis. You know, and we turned
Yeah.
it down.
Mm.
Factors, people ask why. One, I
Mhm.
was going through my episodes with lupus. Two, Ro uh, just got married, and
Mhm.
being a music artist and a businessman, he was, you know, your young wife, you know, they wanted to create drama,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
you know, and they wanted to open, you know, I haven't had I got a perfect marriage, but it had had its up and down. You know,
Mhm.
I'm they wanted to open up old wounds for my wife and it wasn't worth that. I wasn't gonna do
Okay.
that.
Right.
And
Right.
so I turned we collectively we turned it down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I said, no, I don't want to do Black Ink. You know,
That's great. That's
we
good.
got a opportunity coming up now, and I still don't know if I want to do it. You know,
Mhm.
because you know TV now, man, it's just it's like good to be bad, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and you know
You
I
have to
don't
create
want
the drama. You have to create the
they do,
scenarios and
and
the
now they want to
storylines and yeah, very
exploit
exploitive.
top topics that I don't want to be known for, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
uh, like my incarceration or my street affiliation and
Mhm.
things like that. And you know, I want to be known as a businessman, as a well, a good father and husband first,
Mhm.
you know, and a businessman who was fortunate enough to hand something down to my kid. You know, I don't care to hear anything that like, man, you did these for, I've heard it, Ron, you did this for the streets or whatever. And man, you know,
Yeah.
that's,
Like I
that's,
like I
that's
I
not
tell
it.
people when they run into me at the at JD and whatnot, and people when they run into me wherever, and when they ask me about, things that I've done in the past. So man, didn't you used to whatever, whatever. I was like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
that's my previous life. You know, I always say that. That's my previous life. We all, I feel like, we have several lives. You have a high school life, you have a post high school life, your graduation when you're in the early 20s and you're doing this and that, and then in your 30.
Definitely.
I was like, that's my previous life, man. I'm not about whatever that topic is anymore. This is me now. So yeah, I definitely get that, man.
But we were always
So
like that, Chris. I mean,
yeah,
when we went out, it was about family, you being my little brother, and we
yeah,
just enjoyed going out, kicking
yeah.
it. It wasn't about no females, man. I'm far
No,
beyond that,
no.
man. It
Oh yeah.
wasn't about that.
Yeah,
So
it was definitely about having a good time. It was definitely about I remember getting you would get the mic and Black Pearl in the building, getting the name out there,
th-
and different things like that, just having a straight up good time.
that's
Sometimes I
it.
had a little too much to drink sometimes,
Oh
but
man,
but
me and you both, man.
hey man, I remember when you got that navigator, right? And this was like when freaking
Are you through?
T T yeah, when
You watching the
TVs was like,
TV streams?
oh man, when TVs was like, it was the thing that
Yeah,
it was brand new to have a TV in the dash, and you had Scarface playing, and we had
yeah.
just been out kicking it or whatever, drinking, and the TV you was
I
driving, and
remember.
the TV was going,
I
and real life
remember.
over here going, and it just messed me up. I was like, hey man, pull off. You got to pull over.
Yep.
I do not want to mess this
You threw.
navigator up, boy.
That was on Broadway.
I
You was
sure
on
was.
North Broadway.
Sure
Mm.
was. I remember that, boy. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God. We was kicking it, boy. That navigator was so nice.
Yeah,
TV.
we
I'm like,
we just did like things like that, picnic, or
yeah,
like I was doing a few of the concerts back then, and we just had fun.
yeah. Oh,
That,
for sure.
that's one thing about promotions that I learned, and this can go with this episode that I I learned a good strategy that I could spend so much money with the radio station doing spots and commercials. Sometimes you look at your schedule and they put you overnight. That's things you're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
uh, you can throw a event, promote it through that, and bring in some income.
Yeah.
So even if you just recoup your investment, it's always a plus. It's always to bring in something.
Mhm.
you know, and you building a relationship when you do events and people get to know you, and that's when uh, they start to support you in the business that I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm like a barber. You
Mhm.
that's how we became family, man. Just sitting and talking, and you hear people problems, you tell them your problems, and you connect with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and that's how I'm just I'm like a barber. That's why I got so much respect for barbers. And one
Mhm.
thing about a barber, once you find your barber, you're loyal to him.
For sure. 100%.
And I've never ever said that I was the best tattoo artist, but I know that I'm certain people tattoo artists because they feel safe with me and I connect with them.
Right.
And sometimes it's therapy for them to come see me.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
stepped over my boundaries when it come bringing personal desires. You see that in the workforce now. You know,
Mhm.
I never always respected my position. And in my career, you know, I've had women come on to me, and like I've always kept it 100. Like, hey, you know, I'm married, and you know, I'm so honored. You know, I appreciate, you know, you telling me if you gave me a compliment or saying that I'm treat you decent. I said, but you know, I'm
This
married,
where
I'm
it is. Right.
committed, man, and that's what I got to offer right now. But you know, that's it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So, and they respect that. You know, I tell my boys that because at first, it was hard for me to find tattoo artists because you know when you're dealing with somebody's skin and you're dealing with women, you can come across some deviant individuals,
I'm sure.
and that's why saved those positions for my sons because I knew these were the, both of them were men that I got a strong connection with that they'll follow my word. And I tell my boys, I said, you know what? You, you can keep a girl crushing a whole lifetime. But once you get personal with that female and you don't give her attention, you're gonna lose a customer.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
I said, and you taking money, you taking, you know, food out your mouth.
Mhm.
And they listen. I try to
Right.
give other people opportunity. Now I have trained a lot of people,
Yep.
but as far as telling them that I'm gonna let you step in the driver's seat of Black Pearl because I want to take a step back. No,
Right.
no, I knew I was gonna save that uh that job for Roll and Buddha.
Yeah.
We're Roland and Robert.
Right. Right.
So
So doing the business, I mean, it seems like a previous lifetime ago, but COVID was just like 6 years ago or so. How did you all navigate that? Because I mean, there's a lot of businesses that did not make it, restaurants and shoot, a lot of other business. How did you all not fall victim to COVID and make it out?
wh- uh oh, that was a difficult time. But you know, just like you know, sure Ace had mentored people, you know, you always establish your nest eggs and you save, you know, you for the unexpected, man.
Mhm.
And I always told my boys, you know, don't burn through. You know, I hear a lot of mentality now, like, well, you can't take it to the grave, spend it, but you know, you see now uh uh the type of atmosphere we live in, and it's rough
Mhm.
out there.
Yeah.
During COVID, you know, we we had our funds saved and things like
Okay.
that. We we did it more so on appointment where I could in a controlled environment,
Mhm.
especially with me having lupus, you know, because every once in a while I do go down there. But
Hmm.
I'm a germaphobe, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm s- when I did have my episodes, I've spent sometimes 30 days in a hospital straight, and you know,
Mm.
battling that autoimmune system when your autoimmune is compromised. You know,
Yeah.
you learn. I tell you what, that's when I wrote my book. No, when previous to that. So when I dropped my book, I'm sorry, when I released it, COVID hit. So
Mhm.
I tell you what, I was like in paranoid mode. I was like, you know, my agent was like, "Aren't you gonna go out?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, I'll do a few. online interviews, and I said, but I'm not going personally out. They was like, well, you're gonna have to get out there and push your book. I'm like, yeah, well, I guess it's not gonna happen, man. I said, because I want to be around. I want to be around. The book
Yeah.
was just a testimony for real. It was just my mom passed, and she said, "Tell your story." Tell your story. Uh, because a lot of people think, uh, it was more of a crime type of novel, and it wasn't. It was more of a
Yeah.
spiritual. So anybody who read it, it was,
Yeah. Tell us a
it
little
was
bit
more
about that.
thing.
We can, yeah, eating the forbidden
Fruit.
fruit.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about it. You kind of told us a little bit about that, but
Well,
you
yeah.
know,
It starts a little bit. It's a little bit on my upbringing. Growing up in the inner city, being biracial, man, but being proud, of
mhm,
my culture. I used to have to, back then people were like, what are you? I'm like, I'm black.
right.
you know, I'm bald head now, but I had long hair, man, like a Indian, like straight
Yeah.
long hair. They call me Cochise, but I used to tell people I'm black, man. Well, no, you not.
They like, nah,
I'm,
bro.
I'm like, man, I'm black, man. Like I don't know what to tell you. It's your
Yeah.
dilemma. But
Right.
uh, it's just some good memories. Just growing up, going through. It tells the story of how I met Tracy, coming
Mhm.
out of a C&K barbecue in our old neighborhood. Remember when it was on Carter?
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and
C&K was the bomb.
yeah, people don't know that. I know my wife since third grade.
Gee.
We dated in high school.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
I went away to the military. It tells that story. I went away to the army, came back, reconnected, joined the police department. And that's what it focused on, like just being
Mhm.
unhappy of the career of the police department, for young officers who may be questionable about their career. I just tell them some of the things, how to approach that career and have a rewarding career. Don't get caught up in the cliques, the gossip, and political ties. Try to just make your own path, and it's kind of like the police department. A lot of infidelities, and I speak against that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Mhm.
treating dilemma of treat people how you want to be treated, and it just tell them how I was unhappy, but you may not be unhappy, and I commend, especially a lot of I see black police officers, man. Could you imagine uh, a police department with no African, no black, no African Americans, man? Man,
Especially in
we
the inner
we
city.
oh my God, man, you know.
Yeah.
So I know I made a difference, and that wasn't even my passion,
Right.
but it tells a few crucial instances that I came across, you know, racial profiling, or I had to step in, because you got to remember, like I said, Chris, people looked at me and they didn't think that even on the police department, you know, they knew
Yeah.
I was uh, from a diverse ethnic background, but a lot of them thought Latino.
Yeah.
Mhm. So that's what a majority of them. So, sometimes I had to set it straight. Like, hold on, man. You hear things and you're like, oh, come on now.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Some officers,
Yeah.
the wrong way because they're like, man, this, he's real touchy. I'm like, no, it's just about respect, man. I wouldn't do that to you. I used to always tell officers, like sometimes they'll come up to me and it could be, I met a lot of good white officers, but some of them will come up to me, hey man, what's up? And try to give me pound. And I'm like, man, you can shake my hand. I just saw you greet that guy. You shook his hand, man. You don't have to come like try to fit in with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we speak the same language, bro.
Right, right,
You
right.
know?
Just relax.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. So the book,
But
they still where can it be found still? I know it.
on Amazon.
No, okay.
uh,
On
I,
Amazon. Yeah.
I
And
just I just found it.
okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate that, Ace. I'm currently Ace. I'm currently writing my second book.
Okay.
Currently,
But
Yeah.
yeah, and it's called Walking the Purple Road.
okay.
And the reasoning behind that title is like it's dealing with lupus, so it's Purple Road.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be deep. It's gonna tell about my journey. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that story is probably the worstest battle that I have experienced thus far. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
emotionally, physically. So, I want to tell that story and see if I could connect with some people because I'm in lupus. I'm in a few lupus groups, my lupus group, lupus foundation, and uh, lupus has affected probably 90% of their career, their jobs, and
Mhm.
things like that. And I just, you know, wish I can just reach out and tell some people some of the things that got me through.
Yeah.
I I was financially stable uh, um, through Black Pearl, but having lupus really got me really just in tune to think about the more of the future
Mm-hmm.
for my kids. You see some parents say like, well, once they get out of my house, I got to live my life is they're on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing, I don't care how old my kids get, I'm gonna always be a father.
Mm-hmm.
So I will always mentor my kids, man. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll always put into them. Maybe not financially because they're doing better than me, but but supportive, and nurturing. Not, I will always guide them to be a better man than me.
Yeah.
They didn't see their pops make a lot of mistakes, man. I just, like even, we'll touch on this topic about incarceration. I dealt with that, and you know, we sit down and talk about that. I tell them like that's just something you'll never want to experience. I hope mm, no man have to experience that unless they deserve that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just we sometimes we make choices, and that's where we gotta go. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but I just hope through that transition that they wake up. And me being there, I tell you what, it's a sad story, guys. Like because like I'm like, oh my God, when some of these guys get out, I'm like, oh my Lord, I feel sorry for my people, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's some, see these stories, and they be like, when I'm gonna handle this with humility and resilience, and when I get out, I'm gonna, get my life together. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not like that. A lot of them don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Like literally, like 80%, they're not saying that. They were telling me like, "Oh, gee, when I get out, I'm gonna back at it." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, man!" I tried to talk to them in there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I taught classes in there. You know, when
Trying
I
to
was there.
mentor to the young, trying to mentor to
Yeah,
the youngins. Yeah.
yeah. Now I was teaching classes before I went in. I was teaching classes at father support,
Hmm.
father family support. So entrepreneurship classes. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
So now that you are retired, what does financial stability look like? What does that, look like to you?
financial stability for me and realize it after what I've established and what I've experienced is it's building something that you can pass on, and whatever you invest in is going to eventually take care of you. And
Yeah.
and that's the best thing that I've done. You know, I tell you something, Ace, because your job, your career,
Hmm.
when I knew before getting being diagnosed with lupus, I knew something was wrong with me.
Right.
I used to tell my wife, I didn't know what it was
Hmm.
specifically, but I knew something was wrong. And she was like, "Well, let's go to the doctor." I said, "No." She's like, "What?" I said, "First, you got these contacts, call all these insurance agents. I'm going to
Hmm.
take out a lot of life insurance on me."
All right. Yeah.
And I held that. I held, I mean, for like, I wouldn't go for like maybe 6 to 8 months. I
Hmm.
wouldn't go to the doctor, to my physician,
Yeah.
because I said, like, I was like, maybe it's nothing, but if it is something, they won't insure me.
Right. Those
You
premiums could
know,
be crazy or
oh my
yeah.
God, man.
Yeah.
Especially, people need to know the difference between, a whole life and term life,
Hmm.
and I just lost somebody who was with a company over 30 years, but they only had a term life,
Hmm.
and the family didn't know until they passed away, you know. And
And
that's
that,
the recent funeral. I know, Chris, you know what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Tracy.
Yeah.
And man, it was just sad, man. All them years that that person put in with this, and nothing. It's like, oh well.
Yeah.
yeah. Just
So
a quick insight on that. Whatever your job is offering you, most jobs are going to offer you some form of like life insurance. Most of the time, it's only going to cover maybe 2 months worth of salary, which
that's it.
ultimately is nothing. I mean, they don't charge you anything for it. They, abbreviate it like, this is, something we want to do for our employees. Don't bank on that.
Yeah,
Go and talk to somebody about some type of life insurance.
yeah,
You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't.
yeah,
Um, and life insurance really, in all honesty, is a way. I don't want to paint it like it's because the misconception is that we hear some people hear this and they think it's a get rich, quick scheme or they want to put everything into it. No, life insurance really is a way for you to ensure that when you leave this world, your family can still live like you're here or if not better.
there
That's
you
how I
go.
always tell people. So,
There you go.
yeah.
There you go.
No,
You
that's
know,
it.
yeah, yeah, man. I tell you what, I plan on being here. I'm 60, so I'm about to be 61, but I plan on being here much longer if God permits. But
Hmm.
if life is it's not guaranteed, but if something happened, I can honestly say that I lived a good life, and I was able to accomplish a majority of the things that I wanted to do as a
Hmm.
husband and a father. So I'm pretty pleased.
Yeah. And one other thing I do want to, and I hate to catch you up, I do want to throw out there
No.
because this has come up a lot. Establish some type of trust. Um, Establish the trust. It doesn't have to be anything exotic or anything. Just establish a small living trust, and don't put your accounts in them. Just make the trust your beneficiary on every single account that you have. It'll make your life and your family's life so much easier. That's
Yeah,
one little other tidbit that I wanted to throw out there. Those
definitely.
two things you need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they need to hear that, man. I'm so glad to hear you say that, man, Ace, because some people come in the shop, they talk about entrepreneurship and things like
Hmm.
that, but those are topics that because they'll tell me like I got to make a better life for me and my kids, and I say I understand that. I
Hmm.
understand that, but it's other things that you should really consider. I said it's just not credit, or
Hmm.
establishing corporate credit and things like that. Is that is important. Credit is important. I used to preach that like early 2000. And
Hmm.
now we live in it's some other things, man. You seeing uh uh no health insurance, like you said, no
Hmm.
life insurance, no trust funds, and I see all these guys and um they're out throwing away money, man. And I'm telling them like, yeah, I can see you spending money on like the bottles or the women, but
Hmm.
do you got to trust?
Hmm.
Do you got to rock?
Yeah.
Do you got a compound interest account? Something, man. Do you got something, man?
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah. Definitely got to have those things in today's day and age. You got to
you
have
do.
those things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's important, man. I like what you guys are doing now, man. I'm proud of you, my little
Appreciate that.
brother, man. And I always knew he's just that type of guy, man. Like
Hmm.
he always, got that ear, you know,
Yeah.
just to listen and give good advice,
Oh, always.
even for me, you know. So real
Appreciate
recognize
it.
real, man. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you for this opportunity. I tell you what, I haven't I haven't did an interview, man. I just,
Hmm.
um, it's not that I'm camera shy. I I prefer socialization, like one on one.
Hmm.
So, like with the book, that was a kind of thing. I think the COVID played a lot of part on my psyche,
Hmm.
but like this is the first interview that I've done, even uh, since I got home, man.
Hmm.
I've done classroom, like I said, I talked in classrooms and support groups up at the Urban League with the Save
Hmm.
Our Sons program. But this is the
Hmm.
first like online interview that like that it could go out to just
To the
unimaginable
people.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We
It
appreciate
was
it.
always a controlled environment. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, this didn't feel like it didn't feel like an interview. I mean, Chris was asking you questions, but just me sitting back. In all honesty, I feel like, this was something where is that we were probably in the shop and I was just with Chris listening to you all talk. And I mean, it was very personable. So we really appreciate it. And again, I'm definitely your book is definitely in my queue. I'm finishing up one right now. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to dive into that. And just to kind of touch back on the book that you're kind of writing, um, correct me if I'm wrong, purple is the color that's, associated with lupus
Lupus.
awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want
Yeah.
to make
It's the
yeah.
purple ribbon. People
Okay.
don't know that lupus is blood cancer.
Yeah.
cancer of the blood. So, some purple ribbons, incurable, you know.
Hmm.
Mm.
So just uh, that's why I want to write the book.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good, man.
yeah. It's gonna have some um, natural health tips in there.
Hmm.
Like I told you, my mother's from Japan,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna share something with you guys. Uh, my mother got diagnosed with lung cancer. She was probably maybe late 60s,
Hmm.
maybe early 70s, but uh, strong Japanese woman, man. So she didn't want to get treated here in the States.
Mm.
She went to Japan, back to Japan to get treated.
Hmm.
Uh, Came back cancer free in 90 days with no chemo, no radiation, man.
Mm.
Lung
That's
cancer,
amazing.
lung cancer.
Mm.
And
Man.
when we Skyped the doctor, when they told us that, she it was in remission and I'm sending your mother home, the doctor, and we were so happy. And he said, you guys in the United States, you treat, we cure in Japan.
Hmm. Yeah.
Major difference.
He said, we cure.
Major difference. Right.
Yeah.
I was like,
They,
wow.
Uh, uh, and that.
And
No, go.
she had medicine sent
Mm.
to me when I got diagnosed with lupus. She was still living at that time.
Hmm.
And my kidneys were failing. And it turned my kidney function around.
Mm.
It was it was ginseng and alkaline.
Mm.
mm.
Turn my kidneys around, man. Now I'm not just saying it's a miracle cure because I did it also in conjunction with modern medicine also,
Hmm.
but it definitely helped. With my mom, she signed a disclosure and things like that. She couldn't talk about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, she wouldn't talk about it publicly.
Right.
But I know it was in Mount Fuji and things dealing with alkaline springs and detoxing your body, kind of like Dr. Sebi.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the first time I've heard that, in just other countries, thinking of just the US where it stands in terms of modern countries, our health system is far behind. We're still arguing about whether or not citizens deserve universal health care, let alone building up the actual infrastructure of how our doctors are, taught how they go about treating things, or they just, you know, giving you enough medicine to stay okay enough to live for a few extra years. It's completely different in other parts of the world, and that's a prime example of it.
Man.
Oh man, yeah, we live in some dark time, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. To say the
I'm
least.
scared, man. I'm actually, for not for myself, but for my grandkids and my kids,
Hmm.
man. And
Yeah.
you got to stay tuned. I constantly sit down and have family meetings with my entire family. How we gonna strategize? How we gonna handle this?
Hmm.
This certain time or whatever problems we got, and
Yeah.
prepare to combat them if they reoccur. You know,
Yeah,
like so. It's just you know.
yeah. I mean,
That's tough.
all the stuff the generations before you all were, and those two generations before you all, that they fought for in terms of voting rights, in terms of just basic human rights for people of color, is literally being wiped away day by
Being wiped
day.
away. Yeah.
It's not on the news. It's, you hear a story here or there, or if you're somebody who keeps up with laws that are being passed, or you watch
Yeah,
C-SPAN or something, you'll see the votes and some of the provisions that are in these bills that get pushed through. It's crazy. It really is scary to see,
it is, man.
some of the things that they're pushing and trying to paint as, well, we don't need those laws anymore because we've come so far. No, we haven't.
We,
This,
you can see us, and I tell I'm so in tune that like when I did used to be at the shop,
Mhm,
kids would come in and they can't even sign their name, but they're in school, but they can't
mhm,
even sign their name, and I'm like, oh, geez. I mean, I won't say that, but I'm thinking
yeah,
like, oh man, and I don't blame them.
yeah,
I'm like, this is the system.
mhm,
You know, Uh, man, they just try, like you said, they trying to abolish our history, man.
yeah.
And it's man, it's scary.
Speaking of that, in terms of just signing, I mean, I probably open up at least 10 student checking accounts a week, at least. And out of those 10 every week, when it comes to signing the paperwork, I think I probably have maybe one, maybe sometimes two kids that actually know how to sign their name in cursive. The other ones
See,
are handwriting it. And
yeah,
I don't, of course, you don't say anything, but the ones who do write in cursive, I always compliment them and just say, you don't know how many of your peers don't know how to do what you're doing.
right,
It's crazy.
right,
It's not only just that, but just not only penmanship, but just phonics and things of that nature.
right,
It's crazy how when you eliminate that for, let's say, 10 years, how it could really affect a generation or two of kids, and they become adults that aren't able to function, or they're behind in society because of those things. It's crazy. It's scary, actually.
right, right.
Yes.
Uh,
So yeah.
yeah, I tell you, it's not to be a joke, but before I went in, you remember the movie Life, Life
Yeah.
with Eddie Murphy? Do you remember the
Yeah.
part when they were reading the mail?
Yeah.
When Eddie Murphy was reading the mail,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
nobody could read. So a friend of mine said, like, Ro, I know you go probably go in there and teach. He said, I'm warning you. He said, if you saw that Life movie, that's real. So I'm
Mhm.
like, oh man, go ahead on, man. But when I got there and I started teaching first I started teaching GED courses,
Mhm.
but I saw some of the instructors there who are just CO. They just, they want that money,
Mhm.
the from the DOJ. So they just sign inmates up who sincerely they can't read, man.
Mm.
They they can't read, and they sign them up, and they really don't even try to push them to try to achieve to get their
Mhm.
certificate or the GED. They just sign them up in their name, and just they just come to class and just sit around, man.
Mm.
And I was like that, and that's why I said I couldn't do it. I stopped teaching
Yeah.
because it
Mm.
was just disheartening. So
Yeah. Yeah. It
so
definitely can be.
yeah, definitely. You'd be surprised how many uh people can't read in jail.
Mhm.
Like yeah, I started reading letters, man, and I'm like, oh man, it's yeah, man. That's what he said, man. And it kind of broke my heart, man. I was like, okay, come
Mhm.
on, man. Before I know it's somebody, hey, can you read mine? I'm like, yeah, man, sure. Why,
Yeah. I mean, just being in the public and seeing those things, I see it something not maybe along the lines of being able to read, but maybe just along the lines of checking with money and just things of that nature. People not understanding cash and checks, or why they can't do certain things, or,
Hmm. Right.
setting up a direct deposit, or it's little things that you can do or that you were taught or that you were shown that you really can take for granted.
I can
And
imagine. I could
yeah,
imagine in your job.
yeah. I mean, the one thing I do want to take the time to say is, like, how Chris is your little brother. Chris
Hmm.
has been like a big brother slash father figure to me. I lost my father. He was a police officer as well, chief of police over here in Illinois, and
What's his name?
Wallace Miller. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
know him.
so he passed on Thanksgiving 2018. And I think I had been working at Finish Line for maybe a year or two. And again, it just made me want to cry almost to the point to where hearing that, your kids, or you're still able to pour into them, and you never know how much of a rock somebody was in your life until they
Yeah,
not there no more.
yeah,
And, just being able to, have Chris, listen some days, and, we laugh about stuff, and, the one thing I've always admired, and I tell him, is that, see how calm he is in every situation, how, he could talk to people, whereas that I was the complete opposite. I was always hot headed, ready to, you know, you can
he
come
off.
in the store
Yeah,
with anybody at any time. So
man.
having to learn that, and not only just learn to be calm, but also figuring out my mental health, man, just going in, getting diagnosed with different things in terms of just ADHD, and, you know, finding out that, I probably need to, see somebody, maybe take something to kind of take the edge off. And I haven't been able to regulate in the real world. And when you go through those things and you see that you're able to regulate, you start noticing in other people, and it makes you a little bit more patient because this person is where I was, and they're not able to regulate because they don't have the help that I got. And I
Yeah,
definitely try to always steer, especially black men, like, man, go take care of yourself, because when you said that you didn't want to go to the doctor, I understand your reasons, wanting to get life insurance and things of that nature. Because once you get, that diagnosed, your premiums go up. But as black men, a lot of us are just scared to go to the doctor. It's kind of one of those things to where it's
we
that
are. We
I
are.
I had a friend tell me it was it was funny, but it's not funny. I asked him, where you gonna go and get your annual. He told me, nah, you really don't get the symptoms of nothing until you know you got that shit. And that really my heart, because a lot of us think like that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We
And
do.
yeah, it's
For your father, man, I tell you, um, I know him. I know him.
mhm,
God has respect for him too. Like you be proud of your father because being a police officer, we bottle things up as men because
mhm,
we don't want to. We got to keep that masculine,
mhm,
image and things. But what I learned, and that's good now, Ace, that you address that. Your mental health can affect your physical health.
mhm, mhm,
And I seen a lot of police officers, man, perish from that, man.
mhm,
Just carrying that stress,
mhm.
and
Just not getting the help that they need.
man,
Yeah.
Chris,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Depression
yeah,
and things like that'll sneak up on you and you won't even
yeah,
know it. You'll be in it and you won't even know it. And it'll mess your whole life up and the loved ones around you for that matter.
Yeah.
You
definitely.
know?
I
Yeah.
I think I didn't really think I did. I knew it affected my family, but you know, at the time I was so concentrated on what I needed. I was,
Mhm,
and I had to sit down when I went and got counseling. They was like, your family going through it too.
Mhm.
You
mhm,
know, you need them. You don't want to push them away.
Mhm.
And last my this go around when I was incarcerated, man, I just sat and thought about just my family, how much they mean
Mhm.
to me, and how much they will me to come home to get healthy.
Mhm.
You know, I'll tell you, I had a heart attack 2 months before I turned myself in,
Mm.
and the judge he he uh he said, "I'll grant you some extra time to, get some cardiac rehabilitation." I said, like, nah. I said, let's get this over with. I said, I got to get
Yeah.
home. I said, I'll do that on the inside,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That.
appreciate that what you said about Chris, man. Chris is just man, he knows.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him great at what he does. That's what every store that he went, outsell other stores. And it's his
Mhm.
attitude, just like my career, it's my
Yeah.
attitude that bring him back. That's why
Yeah.
all his employees, we sit down to get tattoos, they be like, "Oh, we love Chris."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know,
Come on.
man, they go to
Yeah.
war for me,
Anybody
get them
talk
going.
about like I need to
Yeah.
get a piercing. I was like, I got someplace for you to go.
Yeah.
I get a
Yeah.
tattoo. I got someplace for
He's
you to
like a
go.
walking billboard. I come in there and he's like, "If you want a
Mm.
tattoo, you want a tattoo? Go down there and see my brother." I was like, "Oh man,
Heck yeah,
He,
man.
he definitely will plug. He definitely will plug you. If he know
yes, he,
you can help. I mean, he knows somebody for just about everything. So
yeah,
uh, Chris has just always been good people. Now
yeah,
you may see me in his text history and think like, oh, these guys feel like each other the way we talk to each other, but
yeah,
that's just how comfortable we are together, and
For sure.
it's really one of the bright spots and the most
yeah,
consistent one of the most consistent relationships that I rely heavily on. Um, I used to look at it like time, the time you knew somebody, the amount of time you knew somebody meant
hmm,
something. But man, there's some people that you were just destined to click with in life that are gonna be just there for you to
right,
ride it out for the long haul.
right,
So, and just by chance, I mean, I could think it's funny how life works because there's so many things that have happened by chance, like a series of events. And I remember I've shopped at Finish Line before, of course. Never thought of working there, and I was out of work. And I was like, let me just try this assistant manager position. And it was one of those things where they're just being up at night, can't sleep because you need a job. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go ahead and apply. And just by chance, you get a call. And I'm thinking about it, I was like, I don't know if I really want to go. Do I want to really be in retail and be a manager at that? Probably not. And went against, my first instinct to not
hmm,
go and ended up going. And it's been one of the most fruitful decisions that I made because it's gotten me, to where is that one, I'm passionate about sneakers. So that was a benefit. But two, just some of the friendships I've made, man. And I've been at looking at it, I've been at Finish Line JD for 10 years now.
wow,
Just staying, as a part time, and they treat me, don't nobody really say nothing to me. I don't want to say I do what I want, but I everybody in the district pretty much knows me because I've been there. I buy shoes, and I've learned from Chris the way you treat people. There are people that still come back, ask about Chris. There are people that are ask if I'm there. Um, because again, the one thing that we always want to do is we want to make sure that we have fun. Work was always fun. We
Hmm.
enjoyed every day and, supported each other. So
yeah,
it's definitely family when it comes to, JD
right.
over the years. So best decision I've ever made.
I tell you what, man. Too, I haven't done one in a while, but I've done a lot of podcasts like BET,
Hmm.
uh, a lot of them for like celebrities and whatnot.
Hmm.
But both of you, your professionalism, man, and the way you communicate, man, is just it really stand alone. It's
Appreciate
outstanding,
that.
man.
Yeah,
You
Appreciate
know,
that.
appreciate that, brother.
like the syllabus that y'all sent me and the itinerary. I mean, it's amazing. Like the respect that he has for you, Ace. You know,
Appreciate that.
like he's like I'm going. Even though because me and his relationship, it ain't even friends. That is my little brother. His
Mm,
mom called me son, and
mm,
and he's still like, hey, bro, I'm gonna run it across him, and then we go get back. He kept in contact with me. He said, "You
Mhm.
still in?" I'm like, man, I sent him a thumbs up,
Yep, yep.
and say, I'm just waiting on you, man. I want to help promote this too.
Oh man,
Definitely.
we appreciate that, man. Because again, I say this every episode, any stream we get is appreciated because we do enjoy what we do. Our
Yeah.
production meetings every week, we talk. We and not even just about the show, just in general. We laugh, and this isn't a job. This isn't stressful, or it's not anything where I feel like, I got to do this. It's a grind, but man, I enjoy doing this with Chris and Christina and having guests like yourself. Man,
Yeah.
this
It's
is
therapy,
therapeutic for
man.
me. Oh my,
It
it's
is.
therapeutic. You took the words right out my mouth.
Oh man,
Therapeutic.
brother,
Yeah,
like man, like for me, I'm just relaxed. You guys make,
yeah,
you know, so
Yeah, yeah. I'm
definitely.
glad that we were able to get you on the show for sure.
definitely,
Uh,
yeah. And this won't be the
what?
last time, hopefully. Yeah,
No,
so
Oh no,
no.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
man. Like
You
if
got
y'all ever want
anything?
to talk from a second generation, if you want to interview my sons, they'll
yeah.
could jointly together they'll come in just from a youthful
Oh
standpoint.
yeah.
Some of the things because they tell me like my son, we had a talk about now we're dealing with um, a real estate investment trust.
Hmm.
And they were telling me about that. He was telling me about, I don't know if I can mention, but like
Go ahead.
realty, income corp, and things like
Hmm.
that, and he's like, Pops, I'm going to invest some of the company money into that. Like because it's a hot topic, and I've been doing research, watching Nerd Wallet and things like that, and it's
Hmm.
just certain things that I just lean on him now.
Yeah.
You know, so definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
We always open to
Right.
networking, and like I said, man, we look at it like you part of this family, man. So anytime you have time to come on, man, just hit Chris, and I'm gonna send my information to you via Chris,
Okay.
and man, just contact us if you have any ideas. We are always down to um basically sit down, talk, because topics like this and some of the things we discussed tonight are needed. There's somebody out there that's gonna hear this and
Mm-hmm.
take the necessary
Mm-hmm.
steps to better their situation, and that's
Right.
ultimately the goal is to if we can help one person per episode, I'm good. So
Yeah.
again,
You know,
it's a passion for us.
I know, and the
Yeah.
itinerary, one of the topics was like after incarceration. So
Hmm.
now, what I'm glad to say, like in as far as in the feds,
Hmm.
that they offer entrepreneur and reentry programs,
Hmm.
and I would advise anybody who's about to go in, or if they find ways to watch your podcast too,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
they it's one of the least attended or enrolled classes, but it should be
Hmm.
because I was trying to get them where I was to make it mandatory,
Hmm.
but they were like, no, we can't force
Yeah.
them, you know. But they offer how establish opening credit cards. They offer that in
Mm.
the feds now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you got to
that's
think
look.
now, they got individuals in there who are like you, Ace. That not like you, but you know they're bankers, man. And
Yeah,
then they in there for all sorts of crimes, man. But
yeah. Look,
that
trust me, man.
but
I see it.
they still got it, man.
Yeah,
Like up here, they
yeah,
still got it, and they'll
yeah,
tell you I was just greedy.
yeah. Uh, look,
Right.
I've had conversations with Chris, and
Got
I
good.
tell him, "But look, man, I see this, or I see this, going on at this particular bank, and I stay away from it because
Yeah,
I just don't even, nope, don't even want to tempt myself. Not to say, that I
man,
would, but I know how that,
Right.
just that temptation, you don't know what you would do in those situations, man.
man,
And these businesses and banks, they all aren't perfect, but the one thing is that you did mention earlier is that having that integrity, man. I take that because your integrity and your word as a man, that's all you have, man. And I don't ever
that's
want to
it.
lose that, or
That's it.
somebody to doubt that. So that's the one thing I stand on, especially being a black man. You already being, questioned or, looked at as a potential, risk. So I take, my integrity and, hold it to the highest standard. And again, I all I want to do is, make a decent living, but while I'm doing it, and I always tell people this, I want to help everybody, but when I get my people in there and I see them with opportunities to, go talk to private wealth or, get business loans and things, I push them. You can ask any customer I got. I got a customer, him and his wife now. They thank me all the time because I don't really, and it makes me sad at the same time because they say you don't see many of us that try to push one another like that. And I was like, man, if y'all
You
win, it
don't?
ain't got nothing to do with me winning. It was like, if y'all win, I know that there's a chance for somebody else that look like me to win.
Yeah,
So that's what mattered to me, man, is trying to
Mhm.
progress everybody as a whole. So it's a beautiful thing seeing people like us progress and be able to be in
it
these
is.
spaces that really aren't always afforded to us. So I just want to get people in those spaces. And anytime I see somebody with that opportunity, I always pull them to the side. I was like, look, this is what you need to do. And this is who you need to be talking to. You don't need to walk into a bank. You need to be able to call a banker and have them do what you need to do. That's how much of opportunity you have. I mean, it it's stuff there like private banking that we aren't aware of. I see African Americans with, in their 50s and 60s that have half a million in the bank just sitting in a regular savings account, not gaining no interest or nothing. And,
That's crazy.
I
It's
tell
there.
them, I give them a couple accounts that they need to move it to. And they, oh man, this is what I could be making per month. Like you could be probably on the money that you have, you could probably be making almost $1,500 a month in interest just based off of what you have. That's,
Right.
some people when they reach their retirement age with Social Security, that's your monthly expenses right there.
Yeah. You know,
So,
I'm happy to hear you say that, man, because I tell you what, I've had a financial advisor and analyst for a while. It came to a point, guys, that I had to say, like, man, I need without saying, uh, I said, I need a minority. I need
hmm
a brother
hmm
at this certain company. I ain't gonna badmouth him on, but I'm still with him. But I was like, I need somebody who can relate to me because
right,
man, it just seemed like you just got a nonchalant attitude. Like, yeah,
yeah,
well, I'm like, well, what's the benefit? How about what you think? Which one would you advise? Well, it's just really, it's up to you.
nah,
So, we need more brothers like yourself in
hmm
there to show us the way, man. Even older guys like me to show us the way.
hmm
So I'm
Mhm.
glad to hear you say that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely take pride in that, man, and
Yeah.
I just try to. It's a passion of mine. So, again, it's something that I try to do on a
Yeah.
day to day basis, man.
Yeah. you know, a lot of us too, we try to be the gatekeeper. We don't want to help one another, man. And
Oh
I'm
no.
always like I'll tell them, like, if I can share something that's working good for me, and if it's something that did not work good for me, I'll definitely tell them.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you noticed though, when guys, when you look at the news now, how many people of color that the DOJ, that the Department of Justice going after now? You like
Oh,
politicians,
oh
man,
man,
big
just
man,
anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
child care
Yeah.
workers, man. They going
it.
they man.
So I can't remember
Hey, you gotta stay.
if it's North Carolina or is I feel like it's North Carolina or South Carolina. It's one of those. The Republican House is trying to propose a bill to where is that you can somebody can actually shoot you if you're trying to go get an abortion. Google
Yeah,
that.
man.
I
Man.
saw that and I was
Man.
like, what
Man.
the fuck? Yes, it's one of those Carolinas that I saw that last night and was just taken aback, by that. I do listen to other podcasts, and there's one podcast that's a political podcast called Pod Save America, and they're pretty close to in the middle because I don't want to listen to anything that's too far left or too far right. I
Me
want to
too.
listen to somebody that's just straight true to the
Right.
middle, like because
Right.
there's right and wrong on one side. There's a lot of wrong on the Republican side, I will say nowadays, but
Yeah.
Right.
Democrats and liberals do just as much stuff to
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
So just seeing and hear that, man, it's crazy as the world, man. You don't want to give a lot of these crazy ass people, these crazy, religious people, just an end to just you could be going in the abortion clinic. I just had to go to the bathroom, and they have the right
Right. And
to
then
shoot you.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah,
right.
man.
Right.
That's
That is insane, man.
It's
yeah, it's
insane.
crazy, man. Some of the stuff that we're saying now, if you would have took me back to 2015 as a 20-year-old, I'd be like, man, fuck no, there's no way that
You know,
shit will pass. Like Trump has really,
Yeah, they got no
I,
filter now, man. They say what they
yeah.
say how they feel now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
miss Bush.
I'm
Right.
telling you.
Who'd ever thought
That's
that?
what's now, who would thought that, Chris?
You would have never
That's
thought that.
crazy.
You would have been
When
like,
you got
I
when
was
you
like,
got Bush raising his eyebrow, like what? Even
He,
his former advisors, they like, oh, hold on, man.
he's really. You look at Bush now, and you just think he's such a harmless goof because a lot of the stuff he do, man, is you can't forget a lot of the war and everything. But man, just looking at him now, man, just fumbling at the inauguration with the damn, he was
Yeah.
at the raincoat and shit, just the goofy shit he
oh
do.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's hard. Like that's the worst that we used to look at. Like we used to look at him like he was evil, and
Yeah.
then you get now
Now we really
Trump.
got it.
Oh my God, it
Man.
just
I don't if both parties would step back and look, man, like this is worse than street wars, man. They're
almost
acting like street gangs, man.
Yeah.
Literally,
it's
man.
sad, man. It's sad, but the
And
one
willing to die for what they believe in.
Yeah.
that's another thing. The political violence is really
Man.
we've always been a country of political violence to an extent. There are
Right.
short bursts of it. We've had Lincoln, and then I just came back from Dallas, and I was on my way to the airport, and I had the most surreal moment. I've been to Dallas because I go to Dallas at least 2-3 times a year. And
Hmm.
Yeah.
this was the first time I was getting on the highway with my homegirl was taking me to the airport, and we drove past the scene where Kennedy got shot. I automatically recognized it because of the underpass and
Hmm.
the actual hill. It was really surreal. I was like, damn, this
Right.
was really downtown that he
Yeah.
got, and I saw all the people, taking pictures. I was like, this is where Kennedy got killed. And to think that we're worse off than that now, that you know, people are getting shot for their opinions, man, and
Yeah,
it's scary.
it is. I'm
It's
I'm 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 interested to see how this next election go, man, and what's gonna happen prior to it. When we get near it. It's just,
it's gonna be. You got to worry about
It's gonna be a shit show.
Trump Trump trying to stay in.
yeah,
I don't know who the Democrats are gonna run out against,
Mm.
whomever, but I don't know, man. We just don't seem like we have any rock stars. But then again, when '06, I thought the same thing. You would have never told me that Obama was gonna be president for 8 years.
yeah.
I would have never guessed that we would have had a
Right.
President Obama. So, somebody to come out the woodworks and hopefully for the best, man. Just not even necessarily, do anything particular for me or anything. I just want somebody that can make shit normal again. Like bring some
That's it.
decorum to the
We need
White
some
House, man.
normalization,
Just
man.
Yeah.
normal.
Just a little harmony, man.
Yeah, just
Like
something.
everything is conflict, man. Like
Man,
That's something when it got so
war.
bad that you be like, it don't even have to be a whole lot better. Just can it be just normal?
normal. Yeah.
And that's how bad it is when you just can we just be
That's
normal?
bad. Man, that's
I mean, Biden's presidency would have been that somewhat normal, but man, Trump has set these people off so much to where is that, man, they are not gonna
nah.
calm down until, I mean, you literally had people that stormed the
Mm.
the Capitol building,
Yeah.
and now they are literally
Stopping
making a
it.
fund for these people.
Yeah.
They about to get checks.
I tell you
Reparations.
what, when I was there, it was a few J6ers there where I
Uh-huh.
was,
Yeah.
and some of them, turned out to be some cool individuals that I could tell from face, value just interacting with them. But some of them were off the chain, and I said, yeah, I get it. I said, I see why yeah, man, you can tell. And some of these political fanatics, you can tell got mental illness, man.
Oh man, without question. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
that he kind of.
It's
It
apparent.
reminds me. It reminds me of you. You mentioned that you wrote a comic book. You made characters. It really, and I'm big on comic books. Chris know that.
Yeah.
It really reminds me of how almost like I think of Batman's the one comic where he had the long Halloween. A lot of these crazy people they gravitate toward these fanatics who these leaders like the Joker or your, Two Face.
Yeah,
Trump is their Joker, and whatever he can say the most off the wall shit, and
man.
they're gonna find a reason to validate it,
Hey,
and
man.
it's crazy to me.
Chris, I would never thought I'd see a president using AI to roast a previous president, man.
Man,
That's
not
These cats, man, like they got no filter, man.
none.
They
not
talking
only
about
that,
dead individuals who passed on. They got no heart,
man,
man.
None.
and he's beefing with the Pope. The
That
Pope. Like what?
I thought I would never
Man,
see that.
Right.
Man.
I mean, the first term, I'm gonna be honest, there I was a little bit shell shocked, and there was some shit that Trump did to where it's like you just shook your head because it was so unbelievable that it was funny.
Yeah, it was
But
very much
now
so. It's
the shit
humorous.
it's not funny anymore.
no, it ain't.
I tuned in. I tuned in just to see. I was like, man, this dude just man. But now, yeah, it's a little disgusting.
Yeah.
It's like, and I wonder, like his administration. I'm like, man, you guys, you let this dude, you winging them all.
Yeah, they are.
They're all his wingmen.
And if you
The women are something else.
Oh
and if you go
God,
against them, off with his head. Basically,
man,
Man,
if you go against them, off with their head.
they wearing
That's
they,
cowboy
basically what they're
hats
doing.
on horses, man. They just like,
man,
I'm like, oh man, oh, all right.
you- I'm I'm just waiting for like the Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard to have a meeting in the Oval Office or something. Like, let's just go ahead and just call it for what it's worth, man.
It's so hard to trust. They turned those in for suits, man, and
Man,
look at them now. They got their platforms too, don't they, man?
Oh
They
yeah.
got their
man,
platform.
oh my God, like it's really. I'm on Threads. Threads is like Facebook's version of
Yeah,
Twitter, and
yeah, I'm on threads.
man, what are they pissed about? Now they say some of the most outrageous stuff with Trump being their leader, and the Democrats honestly are kind of starting to sink to that level because if you're
Yeah.
familiar with Stephen Miller, the one of
Mm-hmm.
Trump's advisors, he posted something, and the official Democratic page told him to shut the fuck up, you ugly fuck.
Yeah, yeah,
What?
The official page. Now that's not exactly what they said, but along the lines, like literally somebody hopped on their page, typed that shit out, posted it, and let it stay.
They're like, man, I'm
It-
sick of this shit.
yeah, like I get man. Like it's just you really question a lot of stuff you see, man. And I
yeah,
I
definitely.
check I check things before I post it. I'll Google it, see if it's popping up, CNN, see if it's getting hits. But a lot of this stuff, man, that you hear and you check, a lot of it's fabricated. But I'm gonna be honest, some of the shit that I see that I actually validate that's legit, I just don't believe, man. It's that
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, dog.
I'm low key. I'm ready for Jesus to come back at this point, man. Because
man.
it,
For real.
Hey, that's what it's gonna take,
yeah, because
man.
it's crazy, man. I don't, you know, I'm scared. I'm really scared to go out the country because I'm scared if I go out the country, I enjoy myself and it's peaceful. Scared I might not come back.
Right.
But if I
Yeah,
didn't have, if I didn't have a daughter, man, I definitely would probably
right,
consider just going, to some, somewhere in Europe or some and just
right.
living a quiet, peaceful life and not necessarily worrying about all the shit that goes on here because it's something every day, man. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
it can be triggering. It's overstimulating. I would have to say I'm overstimulated a lot the past month and a half. It's always something.
yeah, yeah,
But
definitely.
but yeah, fellas, this has really been, I think, probably one of our better episodes. I know for sure it's going to be our longest episode, but Roland, we definitely want to thank you, man, for coming on. And like I said, you are welcome on this platform anytime. Like anytime, you want to come on, we are happy to have you. And again, I salute you. I mean, your book, I definitely will be getting. So again, tell everybody name of your book and where you can get it again.
Okay, it's titled "Eating the Forbidden Fruit" by Roland Lee Page, and you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, definitely check
Oh,
that
cool.
out.
Yeah.
It's already loaded on my Kindle, so I will be reading that, and I definitely will send you what I think of it.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
so as soon as I get done with it, I'm gonna hit you up and let you know what I think about it. But it's a lot that I definitely, picked up and learned from this, and I'm honestly looking forward to, potentially working with you in the future because I know that again I can only benefit from it. So I definitely want to thank you for your time, and Chris. As always, man, it's always a pleasure hosting with you. So thank you for the night, sir.
I
Oh,
appreciate you guys.
100%. Right on,
Yep.
brother.
All right. Hey,
Uh,
Chris, I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow, brother. Love you, man.
all right, with
Oh,
that.
for sure.
All right then, guys. You have a good evening.